This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, and welcome to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, certified dream life coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. This is the place where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love and rediscover the truth of who you really are. As many of you regular listeners know, I first became aware of quantum science, quantum energy, and quantum entanglement through my work on the film What the Bleep Do We Know? Up until then, I've been living a life, as I like to say, as a total fatalist, certain that I was a victim to life's whims, and that there was nothing I could do to change that. Well, that movie turned everything around for me. It made me realize all the possibilities that could be mine if I opened my eyes wide enough to see them. My guest today, Dr. G. Rex Kruhly, understands how applying quantum physics can transform us from skeptics immersed in negative thinking to becoming one with optimal health, success, and emotional freedom. Dr. G's depth healing techniques help his clients achieve a state of heightened consciousness and vibration, which allows them to see everything life has to offer for them. Welcome to Dream Power Radio, Dr. G.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here.
Oh, I'm honored to have you on. I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation. I'm going to start with this, Dr. G, because I think when most people hear the words quantum physics or quantum anything, their eyes glaze over from the thought of those days struggling over science in high school. So could you explain in layman terms how quantum science can help us live our dream lives?
That's an interesting way to word the question. That's a big topic. So folks, basically speaking, in like she said, layman's terms, when you're looking at things, when you look at the world, anything, it doesn't matter whether it's the political world, the business world, the cities, what you're looking at is energy. It's not things. The problem for human beings is the way our eyes and brain work. In this world, we see things and we feel things as things. And when we're experiencing the world like that, everything controls us, or we can be a victim of things, and all. It makes the division, but it's actually an illusion. But when they found quantum physics, they're able to see the fields of energy. So they have the machines now and the technology. They can look like, for instance, an atom. When we were little kids, they used to teach us that an atom is like a thing, and then the little electrons are running around it. That's not true. The nucleus itself, all it is looks like gas. It's an energy field. That's the actual reality. So what does that mean? Well, if you understand how consciousness works, because everything is energy and consciousness creates reality, basically. If you start to understand that, it gives you freedom and possibility to do things differently. And then the universe runs by two things. It runs by many things, but fundamentally for us, you can think two things: perception and resonance. Resonance gives you everything you have and everything you're never going to have. It just anything that is vibrating at the same frequency, they blend, come together, meet each other, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That includes money, lovers, health, war, you name it. It comes by resonance. What gives you the resonance? What gives you the frequency? Your perception. What gives you your perception? Your subconscious mind. That is where the difficulty comes in, because subconscious mind, the first entire 6 years, does not belong to us. And it forms the software that you use for the remainder of your life. By the time the frontal cortex of your brain starts at the age of 7, you have approximately 10 quadrillion bits of information that don't belong to you. All you did was record it and absorb it at a rate of 40 million bits of information per second. That's why there's so much. We're designed like that as a survival mechanism. If you're born on the Amazon Delta in a tent, you need very different software from a guy or a girl that's born in Manhattan, New York. So that's the way our brain is developed. But the problem is, as you get educated, once this turns on, and the brain starts thinking and deciding and choosing, it's doing so relative to its database. Just like when you're on a computer and you want to search information, you go to the Google Cloud. The Google Cloud is the subconscious mind. That's the database. And you punch in your question, that's the frontal cortex. It references through to Google, and whatever Google gets, everybody believes. That's how they can manipulate you. They change Google or they change that, and nobody questions it. You type in a question and you get an answer and you trust it. Same thing with your brain and your subconscious mind. So where I come in, I can go in and change the subconscious mind. When I change it, it changes your perception. It changes your perception from a negative to a positive. Your frequency goes up. When your frequency goes up, what you're attracting, experiencing, and everything goes up. The higher the consciousness, the greater the world and universe that the person is experiencing. The lower the consciousness, the more horrible or difficult or dark the world or universe they're experiencing. It's all relative. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. For starters, it does. But then also leave answer this question. If you can change a person's subconscious, how do you do it?
Oh, that's a good question. So I have empowerments to do my work because I'm in Thailand. My clients are dotted all over the world. All I have to do is see your face. You tell me what I need to change, and I'll change it from here in real time. How do I do that? Field is continuous, and neither time nor distance matters. You could be on Pluto. I don't care. I'll still remove your headache or change your love life or whatever it is. Doesn't make any difference. How do I do that is frequent, two different kinds of frequencies. There is, if you look it up, you'll see, if you look up destructive interference waves. Destructive interference waves, this is something, say, a negative, and it has a certain frequency. And the frequency, if you draw it, it goes like this, looks like a wave. So a destructive interference wave, when this one is going up, this one's going down. They're equal, but in exact opposite frequency. When they meet each other, they cancel to zero. There's a constructive interference wave. When they meet, they magnify and grow. So what I do is I can talk to your subconscious mind, the quantum field, and I'm connected with the divine. Everything I do comes through the divine, from the divine. All I am is a channel. Always remember that. Don't think that I'm some kind of powerful man. No. I'm just a channel, but I'm specially empowered to be the channel. What does an empowerment mean? Empowerments mean that the healer or the person has been qualitatively altered or enhanced to channel the huge frequencies or energies non-destructively to me. So when it comes through me to you, it doesn't hurt my nerves, my nervous system, my body. If I'm not properly empowered, like a lot of these fools that don't know what they're doing, and they start playing around with energies and kundalini, and they're not properly conditioned, they can die. They can fry their brain right out of their head. They can destroy their nervous system. They can do. You ever want to see what can happen the wrong way? Just read the book Kundalini by Gopi Krishna. Because Gopi Krishna had the Kundalini rise when he was not prepared. And that was it. Just read that book, because energy is nothing to play with. So I have these empowerments. You call me up and you say, I can't make money. I know, because that was me for 30 years. I have the PhD, I have the MBA, I have all the plans, I got it. Nothing works. It never works. It always fails. Why? So they call me up. And all I do is look for cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is a 1 to 1 million ratio. That means the frontal cortex, which is extremely weak, has the power of 1. It only processes 40 bits of information per second. This one, the subconscious, 40 million bits of information per second. So this entrepreneur, he knows everything. He's got all his whys. It's all there. He's done like 100 Tony Robbins seminars and the whole 9 yards, nothing ever worked. Is because when he was 3 years old, or it might even be in the womb in the 3rd trimester, and his dad or his mom or somebody said something that he recorded. And that something says, you can't ever do that. You'll never succeed. And he never will, ever. Until or unless that dissonance is removed. Now, you can try brain reprogramming, but it will not remove the dissonance. Brain reprogramming is an overlay. I do that too, but it only overlays about 40%. The dissonance is still in there. So if an environmental trigger, some kind of an event or a sight, it could be a smell, opens up that negative program, it'll shut them down. Period. And that happens to millions and millions of people. So all I do is I can go right in surgically, find exactly when and where and at what age you got that program or that imprint. I disintegrate it using destructive interference waves. And then your system tells me which constructive interference wave to replace it with. Your system and your higher self tells me what to do. I'm not involved. So I just talk, ask the questions. You open all your files yourself. I show you how to do it very simple. And then when the file is open, the information isn't exposed. And then I can, as long as I can find it, I can disintegrate.
So
and the kind of interference wave changes you.
So does this happen instantaneously?
Yeah, in real time.
In real time. And if somebody comes to you with multiple problems, are you able to clear them all at the same time, or is it one at a time?
What you do is this. That's why my session takes 2 hours. So the first hour, all I'm doing is gathering all of the information and as much entanglement as I can. And that includes people, places, geophysical locations, everything that is relevant as far as the client knows. And I clear it all at the same time. So if that includes a whole bunch of family members or children, or all of them receive healing at the same time, relative to the question we're asking. That's the key to understand. So let's say it's a cancer. Cancer is a big message that it's such an important matter, and the person has never been getting the message. So they develop a cancer to make them listen. That's why the cancer is there. Now, let's say that this is a development that spans over 20 years. I had breast cancer myself, so from rage. So I had rage for about 20, 30 years. And it all had to do with what I was just telling you. I attended all the seminars on wealth and everything, and I have all kinds of degrees and all that stuff. And I never could make a dime because I didn't know about cognitive dissonance till I met Dr. Larry Habersky after I was a licensed doctor in Georgia. He's the one who taught me the basis of what I do now. So
I'm going to cut you short here because we do have to take a break. We're speaking all about depth healing with Dr. Rex Kruhly, and we'll be right back. Hi, it's Debbie. If you like what you're hearing on Dream Power Radio, I've got good news for you. There's more information, more insights, more ways for you to live your dream life on my YouTube channel, The Dream Power Experience. Check out insightful video interviews with some of the leading experts in self-growth and empowerment, plus a few videos where I share my own advice on how to break free from whatever's holding you back. So take a look at the Dream Power Experience on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@thedreampowerexperience.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, welcome back to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, Debbie Spector Weissman, and we're talking all about depth healing with Dr. G. Rex Kruhly. Well, Dr. G, my understanding that one of the components of depth healing came when you were empowered as a Diksha blesser. So what is Diksha, and would depth healing work without it?
Oh, no, depth healing will work without it. But what I do see is the depth healing session part sets you up for the Diksha. So Diksha is the real game changer. What is Diksha? Diksha was given to humanity, the general humanity, for the first time in the history of humanity, I believe in 1987. Diksha has always existed, but it was always reserved for only the most elite people, like the top student of Buddha or Jesus' disciples. Diksha is just a term from India for the transfer. What it means is it's from the divine itself. So if you love Jesus, it'll be Jesus that will give you the Diksha through me. If you love Buddha, Krishna, if you love just a great compassionate light, if it's Archangel Michael, if whatever it is, doesn't matter, it'll channel through me into their brain. Now, Diksha has been studied by functional brain scans at the University of Pennsylvania many years ago now. And at that time, the Diksha was much weaker than it is now. What it does is it opens up the frontal cortex like a Roman torch, especially the left prefrontal cortex. And then it starts to disassemble the areas in the brain along the parietal lobes responsible for things like worry, fear, anger, triggers, all of that stuff. It starts to dissolve. One Diksha will continue working, at least at that time, for 6 months. And it's a cumulative. The more Diksha you get, the stronger it gets. So it's the divine. And then what its purpose is to awaken you, stop your suffering and your worry, your fear, and awaken you and build your bond with your divine, with the divine. So I'm the living proof of this. Like I said, I lived in a state of rage, literal rage, for a good 20, 30 years. And that's all gone, all my triggers. I mean, I used to have a temper. If you'd ever saw me, I'm a martial specialist. First and foremost, I've been carrying 3 samurai lineages now for 46 years. I used to teach United States military how to destroy a human target with their bare hands for a long time. And then I became a doctor. Now I have almost no triggers or temper at all. And that's all because of Diksha. So I found Diksha in 2013. And then Diksha is like a prayer on steroids. So like the end of this week, every month, I do a free service as my service to God, to the divine, or people. It's free. Takes about 30, 35 minutes. And all I do is give them Diksha. And what they do for that service, they write out what they want from God informally with ink, and it's written in present tense. So it's like you're thanking God that you have or that you are, so that it's in present tense. And then they'll receive the Diksha. And it's because it's a collective Diksha, it's exponentially more powerful. Then they keep that prayer. You fold it carefully, write thank you on the back of it, and you put it in a safe place. And the divine will answer it for you. The only thing I can't tell you is when or how, but the divine will answer that prayer. If it's sincere, they will answer. So that's my, as a mystic, I am not a real mystic. Title of a mystic is a very high title, but I have a mystic connections. So I'm a combo. Depth healing platform is a combo of mysticism and the divine and quantum science, cutting edge quantum science. And I call it applied quantum physics because I make it happen now, period. End of story.
Very good. I want to go back to something that you said earlier. I can understand how this depth healing can deal with mind issues like stress or anxiety or relationship issues, things like that. But you also said that it worked with cancer. So how does it work with a physical illness?
Yeah, okay. I'll give you a case study of very severe chronic Lyme's spanning over 30 years. Lady's life was just destroyed. And I removed the Lyme's disease immediately. So Lyme's disease is the same process. It has a signature frequency. So like, let's say you have a submarine in the Pacific Ocean somewhere and you want to blow it up. So the ocean is the subconscious mind, and in the subconscious mind's a submarine. That submarine or the limes, it's let's say in her case, the Pacific Ocean is her body temple, comprised of 50 to 100 trillion cells. And in that body temple, there is a little blip. It's a certain frequency that is the Lyme's disease. A submarine has when they use sonar and radar, they find its signature frequency, its signal. And then I just send in, I find out what is the frequency that it's vibrating at, and I destructively remove it. Done. Alas, finished. Now, cancer is different. See, cancer is a message. And if you don't get the whole message, you won't be able to stop it. You got to get the whole message, and that can be easier said than done. But something like Lyme's is very simple. She got bit by a tick. The same with herpes. I remove herpes. COVID is as easy as pie for me to stop. There's nothing. Now, they've known this stuff, folks, for way over 100 years. What I'm saying is not brand new. They just don't want to do it because they lose money. That's all. Now, if you want to see the validation of what I do in terms of quantum biology, just look up Bruce Lipton. If you want to understand the physics, look up Nassim Haramein, greatest physicist in the world. All I do is I make it happen in real time. That's all. I have the capability to do that. I have the backing of the divine. I channel the divine directly. That's my power source. And it works. I mean, I have 98, 99% success rate across the board for over 12 years.
What would you say is the number one issue that you deal with in treating people?
Almost all of my clients are ladies. And the two things that I deal with the most are financial difficulty and loneliness, being alone, and or alone or in like a destructive relationship. And money is a big problem.
And by finding the frequency that they're at, you're able to change it with frequencies over.
Yeah, see, this is something I do like nonstop, is say a destructive or toxic relationships. 99.9% of the time, the lady was sexually abused, raped, or some of them tortured by their own parents or their uncles or their aunts or their brothers, and they have that's in their frequency. So I go in there and I remove it. Once I remove it, that kind of man and that kind of relationship just doesn't happen anymore. See, everything runs in strata. It's what we call morphic fields, big, large fields. The field, when they've been raped or abused and hurt like that, they're vibrating at a low frequency. And so those kind of guys are living in that strata. When you remove that from them and their brain reorganizes, their field reorganizes, they're here. So they meet this kind of guy. If we take it farther, they'll meet this kind of guy. And then the prayer, the Diksha, endorses it and takes care of them. Now, there are some caveats. There are 10 programs that run all life, 10. I handle programs 3, 4, and 5. Our first program is past lives. That comes into you at the time of conception when the sperm enters the egg. And that is dependent on the mindset and consciousness of the father, mindset, consciousness of the mother. Are they drunk? Are they evolved? What's the geophysical location? Is this in a nice, beautiful, romantic spot, or is it just on the ground? And all those things are a resonance. Now, those resonant frequencies at that moment draw in either good vasanas or qualities of past life, or bad, or both. But it's by resonance. The other thing that happens at that moment is the second program. We call it the genetics, but it's not genetics like they think in science now. Genetics actually goes 6 generations back, certain percentage per like mom and dad, then generation on both sides. And that's where you can get karmic debts and curses and all kinds of stuff come in there. I don't have much power there. Program 3 is conception through the womb. Birth, first 6 hours is program 3. Program 4, from the end of the first 6 hours to the end of first 6 years. And program 5 is age 7 when the frontal cortex kicks in to whatever age you are now. Program 6 is the global collective program, which is right now about as ugly as it could possibly be. And then the 7th program is the great solar program, astrology. That's very, very powerful. And then the 8th program is galactic, 9th is universal, and the 10th is the other realms. Science and people like Nassim Armin, they are not aware of the other realms. They can't see it. But those are the heavens, and that's the divine is in the other realms, and the divine comes here to give us a hand from the other realm.
Well, Dr. G, this has been a fascinating discussion, but I only have time for one last question, which is how can people find out more about you and your work?
Okie doke. So I have this real great admin named Johnny, and he made me a website. All you got to do, everything's right there, folks. Just go to depthhealing.org, not .com, .org. And by the way, because of the way the world is now, and with 5G and so forth, it's very important to protect yourself from Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is the greatest enemy of health ever. So if you go to products, please take time to look and see the Wi-Fi protection. That Wi-Fi protection actually works. I saw the double-blind experiment results using human tissue samples that was run in Germany, and that's why I bought it for myself. So when you have it on your person, it coats you in a shield of electrons, and Wi-Fi cannot penetrate it. The number one thing to have is Wi-Fi protection. It won't interfere with your computer or anything. It just protects biologic life. Just go to my website, get a hold of me directly, and I'll take care of you.
Okay, well, Doctor, thank you so much for being on Dream Power Radio today.
Thank you for having me. You have a lovely, lovely evening over there, huh?
Oh, thank you. We've been speaking about quantum death healing with Dr. G. Rex Kruhly. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. If so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio.